They should be covered.
When they arrested me, I arrested them.
Oh. Yeah.
I'm saying last time, they only covered one person, which is
No, it was, yeah, I saw that.
They brought us truly
Over
many years.
Mm.
Ikienda kwa nini itaonekana kama ni kitu kimoja tu kama ni kwa nyumbani.
That's right. No, that's not good. Otherwise, there's no need of all this. Au wengine ni kuharibia wakati.
I think Bishop Mark and Bishop Kefa somewhere. Let's get to look at the constituencies we represent. Maybe that would be helpful.
Saying you want they should not cover the same thing they did the other time.
No, they will not. They will not. Come closer. Oh, you want it? Social distance.
Yes, social distance.
Well, unasahau hiyo.
Yeah. Well, you know the good
Chairman
thing.
will sit here.
Yeah. Bishop Mark can be there. But the key thing is, they can, instead of moving these around, they can interchange.
Yeah, interchange.
Yeah. If you are saying, talking about the Kikuyu version, you come here.
The Kikuyu is there today. He's coming.
See, you see.
Sorry.
Na kuna shimo.
Adjust kidogo. Kidogo tu hapo.
Yeah.
Sawa, chama. Mtaka kusongesha mbele? Mbele. Hapo ni sawa. Eh?
Check the sound.
Sound test. Sound.
Sound bites.
Tunangojea hiyo.
No, they are printing.
Yeah. The reviewed one.
Lakini ubaya wake ni kwamba kukiwa na jua haisomeki vizuri. Wanasifa sana. If you're going to preach with iPad, ukiwa unajua utaona kitu.
Kwanza siri ikianza kulia
Kuhubiri na nini?
kuna kitu
Na
inaitwa
iPad. Kuna jua. Hata kuwa na watu si wako na hotspots huko. Saa yote inaleta hotspots huko, hata scripture huyo.
Just give us a few minutes, we are getting. Oh,
Good.
so what we'll do?
Anybody with a pen? If I can borrow your pen, yeah.
So what we'll do?
Signing.
Yeah. No, nataka kuweka Kiswahili. Kiswahili. Kikuyu. You can mark here and answer questions. Then I do in Swahili. Yeah, that's in Kikuyu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we ready? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, dear Kenyans, we are the Kenya Church Alliances and Ministries, KCCM, which is a coalition or the coming together of all the evangelical, Pentecostal, and charismatic churches in the country. The leadership representing all those umbrella bodies. That should be very clear. And we came together because we would want to speak to the nation concerning the matters of BBI and what our position and stand is. Dear Kenyans, the journey towards the realization of the 2010 Constitution was a long and tedious process that involved a lot of time and resources. The Kenyan people were tired of the long wait, and all they wanted was Bora Katiba. We welcome the spirit under the BBI report in the proposed constitutional amendments, which will be a guarantee of the country having Katiba Bora. As we look forward into having amendments in our constitution, we express our disappointment on the failure by the BBI task force in taking into consideration the proposals by the side that campaigned against the constitution during the 2010 referendum. The proposals by the church then were also not considered in the current report, which is quite disheartening. This is in contrast with the idea behind the handshake between President Uhuru Kenyatta and the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga. We welcome the optimism from the former Prime Minister, Right Honorable Raila Odinga, in the meeting with the pastoralist communities that the report will be open for dialogue and our proposals of all Kenyans put into considerations before the document is subjected to the people. This will ensure a realization of Katiba Bora. We wish to state that even as a country considers for the constitution amendments, that we are disappointed by the implementation of the 2010 Constitution 10 years later. It's quite evident that the process has been passive and only focusing on areas that favor those tasked with its implementation. We call upon the tasked stakeholders in the implementation process to rejuvenate the faith of Kenyans by fully implementing the 2010 Constitution to the letter. This will be a maximum guarantee to Kenyans that the proposed amendments under BBI will be fully implemented. The Executive Committee of the Kenya Council of Church Alliances and Ministries, after carefully reviewing the BBI report, wishes to state the following. Number one, during the 2010 referendum, the church raised pertinent issues by highlighting some contentious provisions in the Constitution on issues on legalization of abortion and homosexuality, threat to religious freedom, etc., which we still express the need to be addressed. 68.6% of Kenyan voters voted for the 2010 Constitution. However, in the spirit of building bridges, we need to bring on board the 30% of those who voted against the Constitution. It is time to make peace with our past. BBI was meant to lead us to a more united and cohesive country. The 2005 constitutional referendum left the country more divided. We should learn from the past. We welcome the idea of building bridges. Some have been built and others broken. There is need for an extension of the period to ensure that we achieve a united nation. No Kenyan should be left behind. Number three, the issue of independence of the three arms of the government needs a critical discussion and solution. The proposal by the BBI on the introduction of the judiciary ombudsman to be appointed by the president will affect the independence of the judiciary. The current tussle between the executive and the judiciary on the appointment of judges is a clear demonstration on the importance of safeguarding the independence of this critical arm of government. We all need a judiciary that enjoys the confidence of Kenyans so that it can serve as an arbiter, even in times of elections where losers will seek justice with confidence that the outcome will be fair and just. Number four, we acknowledge that the BBI identification of divisive elections to be the problem. We are, however, opposed to the proposal on the electoral management body. The country has had post-election violence as witnessed at the end of almost every election period. And the IEBC has been blamed for some of its shortcomings. We are skeptical as church leaders on the proposed reforms in the electoral body IEBC and believe that this is not a guarantee to a free and fair elections. The only cure is by carrying an in-depth audit in the electoral system and ensuring that all the proposed reforms are implemented to the letter. The issue of electoral body independence need to be addressed and guaranteed, and political players should not have an active role in nominating commissioners, hence a recipe for manipulation. Number 5, we welcome the recommendations on expanding the executive through the reintroduction of the position of the Prime Minister and 2 deputies. However, we want to note that this is not a guarantee to having an inclusive government. Full implementation of the current constitution, spirit and letter, can still help achieve inclusion. There is need for further consultation in a way that it will be compelling that the election winner to make appointments in a manner that is favorable to all communities and not the majority communities. Number 6, the introduction of the leaders of opposition is a step in the right direction. This will facilitate the opposition to play their oversight role and check the performance of the government of the day. Great move that will ensure the runners up takes up the position in keeping check the government performance. This will help in cooling the temperatures of one, making it mandatory to win the presidential elections. Number 7, we welcome the proposals to increase the revenue allocation to counties from the current 15% to the proposed 35%. This will be a great boost in ensuring that development in the mashinani, as witnessed in all the counties, is done. With increased resources, there should be enhanced accountability so that Kenyans can get value for their taxes. The relevant bodies tasked with fighting corruption need to pull up their socks and ensure that public money is not lost. Number 8, we welcome the proposal for a 7-year tax amnesty on youth's enterprise as a way of empowering them. The implementation of this proposal needs proper frameworks to ensure that it's not abused and used to benefit those who are politically connected. Number 9, the 2010 Constitution established independent commissions, which include the National Police Service Commission. This was to ensure independence of the National Police Service from interference from any public or private persons. The proposal to have the Kenya Police Council to be headed by the Cabinet Secretary for Interior will compromise its independence by giving the executive an increased role in the running of the service. We are opposed to this proposal and call for the retention of the current structure as it is. Number 10, the contentious 2/3 gender rule, as contemplated and envisaged, has not been implemented. We find the recommendations to scrap the women representatives' seats in the National Assembly and have them replaced by women Senate seats in the Senate, which is the lower house, to be retrogressive. Women need to be involved in making critical key decisions in the running of the government, with most of the crucial legislations being passed in the National Assembly. Let them not be pacified. We also call upon the government and all concerned stakeholders to carry out extensive civic education on the same and have people make their own independent choices. We recommend that a national delegates conference be convened so that the outstanding issues are discussed and consensus achieved so that BBI process does get us more united and a cohesive country. We are concerned about the hurry, the speed at which some of our political leaders want this process completed. We need to make sure the bridges are built and not burned. We need, like we have said, a more united and cohesive country. Let's remember, there will be Kenya even after 2022. We will present our recommendations and propose amendments on the issues the church raised in 2010 and our proposed constitution amendments to the handshake principles. Thank you, and the Lord bless you. Amen. I'll ask our deputy chair, Bishop Dr. Steve Mutua, to pick it up from there in Kiswahili.
Kwanza tunataka kuwashukuru wanahabari, tunasema ni asante sana kwa kufika.
Raise the questions and we'll be helping each other here with Bishop Mark.
Yes, let me say this. As one of our leaders said here,
Thank you.
yes, this is a very good question.
Kuja kaya hapa kwa mics.
Thank you very much. My name is Bishop Mchuki. I want to answer that question. As our chairman here and one of the leaders said here, that the BBI does not belong to an individual. BBI belongs to the weakest and the strongest, to the poorest and to the richest. And so the question of them saying they are not going to accommodate any proposal, I think this could be their BBI. If it is a BBI for this nation, it should be accommodative. They said they are all inclusive. How can we be all inclusive when we have no representation and we are not ready to hear our proposals and what our concern is with the public? We represent almost 18 millions Pentecostals and evangelicals and charismatics. So we are not just talking here as bishops. We are talking on behalf of our people in this country, the poor, the rich, and those who are really marginalized. So I think this message should go to Honorable Raila Odinga, should go also to the President himself, to understand that we are representing the nation also. We need to be heard, and our people need to be heard. Thank you very much.
Next. Yes.
My question is what you just mentioned, the 38 or so. Would you, as an organization now, have what